What is a taboo subject that should be talked about more? Child-infant death. When my daughter died, a bunch of people just stopped talking to me altogether. I'm sorry to hear about your child. A 7-year-old was hit by a truck last week near my son's kindergarten. I've never met the boy, but I have had nightmares about it. I can't imagine what the parents are going through right now. I can't imagine what you are going through. Nursing homes. The treatment of older adults in general. We are a disgustingly ageist society. No wonder people pay billions for plastic surgery, hair color and fitness, etc. to stay relevant and not be thought of as useless or other. It's so very hateful. I think our society fears old age and death. It's a fucking pathos. Thank you. I'm a 20-year paramedic. One of the things that I really hoped COVID would shed a light on is the absolutely abhorrent treatment of our elderly and infirm. The treatment, in far too many nursing homes, is negligent to a criminal level. Household budgets and finance: how much your parents make, how much is the mortgage, car insurance, car payment, and so on. That's easy. House, 2 cars, 3 kids, stay-at-home wife, pets, college tuition for everyone in the bank, a summer cottage home by the lake, and a hobby like golf should all do if you're a hardworking drug dealer nowadays. Alcoholism, especially in older generations. The biggest drug in the world, the most dangerous, only legal one. Alcohol been disguised to make society believe it isn't even a drug. Now we're all hooked and can't go a week without a drink. Funny because the cravings come back within a week. I quit drinking 18 months ago, and it kinda sucks because if you want to go meet new people or go on a date, it usually involves alcohol. Death. One of my favorite aspects of cultures outside of Western society is their positive views of death. In my culture, being Mexican, we have a very positive relationship with the concept and conversation of death. It's in the art, the music. Our indigenous roots had gods of death. The saint of death, the Day of the Dead. When I talk about these things with my American friends, they tell me it's too negative. They don't want to think about that stuff. But it's natural. It's part of life, and accepting it just as much as life itself is vital to a healthy part of grief and loss. Number 1 for me, especially out of order deaths, young deaths. My husband died when I was 33 and he was 38. It's been almost 3 years and people still struggle with how to talk to me. We need to talk about death more as a society. Loneliness epidemic. But people's loneliness is profitable. Familial abuse. Many people tend to assume that abusive people look creepy, scary, and behave badly in general, but they don't seem to get that anyone can be abusive, regardless of appearance or demeanor. An abusive person can easily be charming, attractive, funny, witty, etc. Just because you think someone has a few positive qualities does not mean they're incapable of abuse. If someone's child seems happy and well-behaved, it does not mean that they are automatically okay or safe. There are many signs of abuse, and I wish that more people educated themselves on this issue. We can literally save lives by doing so. Another one in relation: child-on-child sexual abuse. My abuser was a kid, barely a teenager, the nephew of my babysitter. I was too young to even know what sex was. I didn't even realize until several years after the gravity of what he did to me. I'm not excusing his actions due to his age, because he clearly knew what he was doing was wrong and knew exactly how to cover it up and what to say to get me to keep me quiet about it. But I do think parents need to talk to their kids about what is or isn't normal, and also not be so trusting with older kids they barely know, hanging around alone for long periods with their younger kids. And most importantly, keep open, trusting communication with their kids regardless. If you never really have actual conversations with them, or your child is scared to tell you of anything that they did wrong or that happened wrong, etc., because you blow up on them for every little mistake they make, and don't give them any reason to trust you as their parent, and as a protector first and foremost, then you've already not only failed as a parent, but you've made it that much easier for an abuser of any age to get your child to keep quiet about grooming attempts and abuse. Pedophilia and how to break the cycle of abuse. Yes, society at this point is making the situation more reckless and psychotic than it could be. Many of these people were abuse victims themselves, and some hate themselves for it, and never even act on these thoughts. I guess they end up more often bad or addiction rather than in therapy. not to mention crowding up prisons for other crimes related to their trauma. Access to mental health shouldn't be an exception, and learning about it should begin in school. The education system has been like a job for kids for ages. It's about time it becomes like a home too. Yeah, I remember reading something a long time ago on either Reddit or Imager about a guy who admitted to being a pedophile and being attracted to children. He had never acted on it, had never planned to. He knew it was a result of his own trauma. He knew they were bad, pervasive thoughts. He wanted so badly to get help but was so scared to talk about it with even a therapist. Because more often than not, people even having those thoughts are instantly treated as a child molester, even if they hadn't acted on it. I felt really bad for him because he knew it was wrong, wanted to change, and didn't know where to go for help. I never heard any follow-up, but it sucks knowing that sometimes, more often than not, people want to be better but can't get the help they need. Girls need to know everything there is to know about menstruation before they experience it. At my school, we were only given a quick, "Every month you will bleed, you can use pads or tampons, absorb it." Nothing about any of the other mental or physical effects, nothing about how to deal with them, and nothing else reassuring. And it should be normalized for boys too. It shouldn't be seen as an opportunity to make girls feel gross or humiliated, just as part of life. Follow this up with also teaching about and normalizing menopause. No one said anything about it in school. It's been a shock to find out how little the medical community knows or cares. TikTok and scrolling, addiction. Financial debt. In my line of work, I see people's bank accounts and credit reports every day, and it is very rare that someone has zero debt. Excluding mortgages, which is a given, the vast majority have car finance, personal loans, credit card balances. Mostly it's manageable. Credit is mostly a convenience for which a person pays interest. But debt can also destroy a person. It can keep you up at night feeling like you're literally suffocating. If you are in debt, you are not alone, you're in the majority. If it's a struggle, notify the lender's creditors. They're legally obligated to offer options to help you. Life is precious and money isn't. If you're struggling financially, please speak to someone. There is no shame in it. Pretty much everyone is struggling financially, so someone will understand. Pooping and poop problems. Colon cancer is so common and relatively treatable. But like all cancers, it's so much better to catch it early, yet so many people are too embarrassed to talk about poop problems, and they don't bring it up with their doctor until it's too late. I have ulcerative colitis and make sure all my friends know I'm totally comfortable talking about poop if they ever have any questions about whether something happening to them is normal or concerning. One of the things that stuck with me after reading Alexander Solzhenitsyn's Cancer Ward was one of the characters saying basically, "You shouldn't be a doctor if you're squeamish about sticking a finger up someone's bum to check for cancer." Even way back when even treating cancer was a miracle if you survived the often just as deadly treatments, colon cancer was one people didn't want to deal with or were embarrassed by. Even doctors. I mean, I'm squeamish about all kinds of but stuff, and maybe if we talked about and normalized talking about it in a healthy way, we could make progress. I hate the subject personally, but I'm kinda glad talking about things is starting to be more common. It's safer and healthier for everyone, even people like me who would never ever even poop if I had any choice in the matter. There's such a stigma about butts that some people don't even wash themselves down there when bathing. I can't imagine these people would be able to catch an illness early enough for it to be an easy fix. Postpartum care for mothers. Physically, mentally, and emotionally, we need more education. No one prepared me for what was coming, but now that I know, I tell everyone I can. Not in a fear-mongering way, but in a way to prepare women for the ways they can care for themselves during a time they have to give so much. New-ish dad here. Everyone hears about the struggles of being a new parent and feeling like you have no idea what you're doing. Got plenty of advice on those sorts of things. What I never heard from anyone was what to do when your wife is crying at 4 a.m. because the baby won't latch and it hasn't ate in X amount of hours, and how she feels like she's broken. Or how she feels like she's always has to poop but can't. Or any of the several things women's bodies go through after giving birth. It's very difficult seeing the person you love the most struggle with so many things that you can't help with. Maybe these already exist, but a class on breastfeeding that the fathers can go to and understand what's going on. Problems that may arise, anything that can help support mom and make things easier, less stressful. Pretty privilege. I think no one is willing to admit that if you're good looking, life is significantly easier. Absolutely. I'm ugly as sin, so I know the struggle. Folks who are aesthetically pleasing don't truly know how shit works, since most of the shit they have gets handed to them. Mental health. Listen to your fellow people if they hint at something. Don't ignore it and change topic because you think it will be awkward. Yeah, first time will be, but it will greatly help someone in need and even yourself. Also, make sure you show care and be careful with the words you use. Just last night I told my mom my depressive episodes are getting worse, and she was more worried about canceling our trip than my mental health, telling me not to do anything dumb. Bruno. Excuse me, but we mustn't speak of Bruno. What is a taboo subject that should be talked about more? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.